Hey guys, it's Art After Dark Live, and we are painting the Easter Bunny. Oh my lord. Okay, that was not ladybugs and whatever. This is definitely the Easter bunny painting. That is what we're doing. It's Easter today. Hope everyone's having a great day. We had a wonderful morning. It's nice outside. Another nice day. And hopefully we didn't eat too much chocolate over the weekend. I did. I dived in, among other things. But let's jump into this. Let's do this right now. Here's the little Easter bunny painting. Sitting right here. Boom. Super fun little illustration and easy to do. We're just going to do some big washes and then we're going to kind of build our character up. So, and we have a little fun game too. We have another Would You Rather, but this is going to be the Candy Showdown, the Easter Candy Showdown. So the paints or the brushes that we're going to use, again, my favorite brush in the world, 3/4 inch wash brush. You have two little planes on this. You have the big thick plane and then you have a small plane, a little thin plane. So you can come in and cut stuff using this brush really well. We're going to use a nice little round brush, this guy, to do our outlines. And then we have the bright brush. So this is like a mini wash brush. We could use them to do some shadings and stuff like that as well. I'm just going to check something to make sure that my stuff is working here, my chat and all that stuff. Because it's not coming up on my thing today. I was having trouble with that before. I'm just going to check. In the meantime, I'm going to pull up this little guy here. There it is. And we're going to talk about our paint. So we have a red paint we're going to do. We need that. We need a green paint. Big green paint. And your colors don't really, you just have to be the colors. A big blue paint. And your white and black. And then if you have a brown, that'll be a lot easier for using on your wood at the bottom. Sorry guys, I'm just checking this out one more time. It's not working for me, but it could be happening for you. I don't know. This is the streaming technology. Okay, so I got it on my palette here. I'm going to switch to the canvas cam. And my palette, I got my white up in the corner. I got some blue and some green. While we're painting this, we don't want to make our paint super thick. Okay, so we want to keep it thin. That way we can kind of control what we're doing with this. And if it gets too thick, the paint will get all like sticky and gummy. And then when you're using this, you just have to use a little bit of water just to break down your acrylics. That's what we are using. We are using acrylics. I'm going to move him out of the way. There's my new thing there. Yeah, so we're going to build it from the back to the front. Obviously, we're going to start with the sky. Then we're going to build some nice little bushes in here. And then we're going to do like a log where our bunny is kind of sitting down with a little chick in the corner. It's kind of like the panda painting I did. It's fun. It's easy to make a little place where they can rest their cute little paws on it. It's a fun little way to do an illustration. So all I'm doing right now is just grabbing a little bit of water, and I'm kind of pulling off most of it off my brush, just on the edge of my little water holder there. And I'm going to grab some white and some blue. So I'm just going to make a really light blue. I'm just grabbing some white here and bringing it in. I'm going to probably use more white than blue so we could get a little bit of like that nice sky color, right? I'm going to mix it all up. I am a very messy painter, especially on my palette, and especially during this. So let's just start into it. All we want to do is make sure that we're probably coming down a little bit more than half. That way we can come in and paint our bushes. And then same with that. We're going to do the bushes a little ways down, then we're going to do our little log on the bottom there. So I'm going to start painting it blue right away. And I mixed enough, I should be able to kind of cover my whole sky. Hopefully. If not, we can just mix a little more. And then come back and grab paint when you run out. once I get some on, I'm always coming across and pulling it horizontal. That way I kind of lose the paint streaks and stuff like that. And you can see where it's thick too. I'll grab that paint and I'll bring it down to an area where I can use it. And I am keeping it thin, right? Keeping it thin will make our drying time faster, and then we could work on this in different little sections. So, how was your Easter Sunday? Did anybody do anything fun this morning with their family? Crafts, shows, eat popcorn, eat candy. I ate a candy, but I'm not going to tell you which one until later. Okay, so we're painting blue. Now, if you don't have paints, you can totally use like crayons, felts, whatever. We're just gonna it's the same kind of format. It's just gonna take us a little bit longer to kind of develop this if you're using pencil crayons, because then you gotta come in and scratch it all in and stuff like that. But you can use felts, you can use papers and pencils and whatever you got. Just what kind of materials you have at home. And the coolest thing after this is actually seeing everybody's paintings at the end of the little event here. I think that is just so cool to see what everybody made. All right. My chat is finally working now. That took a little while. Hello, Marine. Group chat with 11 Fam Jam. Yeah, if you're doing that right now, something cool that you can do actually is that you can do a little watch party. So you can go to your Facebook thing and you can have a watch party after this is done, and you can have your own little room and you can paint along with your friends too. So that's really cool. A nice little feature. Okay, so I got my blue on. There it is. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I think right now what I'm going to do is actually, let's do the bottom part of the log. So I'm just going to put a little bit of brown on my palette there. And a little bit of yellow too. This will give this section a bit of time to dry. It shouldn't need too much though. And yeah, you can put it wherever. I'm just plopping it right in. I'm going to add a tiny bit of white to this. Make sure you clean off your brush really well though, because if you put the blue and the yellow together, you're going to get a green. And logs, for the most part, aren't green. So I just mix this up a little bit. And I'm going to say that my log is going to come across right over here. That's going to be my log. Now I'm going to have it so it kind of gets a little darker at the bottom. So I can grab some of this white and a little bit of yellow, and I could just pull it right across. And there. So the top is a little lighter, and then I could just grab brown by itself and kind of add it in here. Again, I am going horizontal right across the canvas, because sometimes you can get some neat little lines that will look like it's following the bark and the little cool details inside of a log there. And when you see these little, if you see some little white dots like in the bottom there, just grab some more paint and just rub your brush in there. You can go sideways back and forth and then come back and paint over it like such, right? There we go. I'm gonna put some more in there. Maybe a little bit more brown on the bottom. I'm pulling it right across. I think I'm going to lighten up the top actually. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the yellow and some white. I'm just working in the corner here, right? So I'm just grabbed a little bit of that yellow there and some more white. And I'm going to lighten up this top part just a little bit more. Okay, pulling that in. I think my chat box is really slow today. I'm trying out this new feature so I could see everybody, and I was having some problems with it before. Just little bugs. This stuff is all kind of new to me. And it is going out to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch as well. Some kind of cool little platforms there. Okay, so we have, I love the little Easter emojis. It's so fun. We have a sky. That was pretty quick, right? And we have a log. So there's our log and our sky. What do we have to do next? Our next thing that we have to do is our foliage. So with the foliage, I'm going to do this in two parts. You can see in the picture that the top part is a little lighter and then underneath is a little darker as well, right? The picture that you're looking in the top corner, though, I just doodled that out on Procreate and then just painted after. But I did paint it before to see how it looked. Make sure that it'd be fun and easy to do. I still love doing these Easter events with the live events where everybody came. They'd be packed. There'd be like 50 parents and kids, and we were all learning how to draw an Easter bunny. That was last Easter, actually. This Easter is a little different. But that doesn't mean that we can't have fun, right? Have fun and learn how to do a painting. So I'm making my light green here. I had my yellow there, so I just dragged that into this green area with a little bit of white too. And then I'm just lightening it up. This is going to give us that light area there. Happy Easter, Robin. Now they're all coming in now. Okay, so I got a little bit of this going on. And I'm going to just see what it looks like. My color, I got paint all over this brush. So that's my green. I could lighten it up a little bit more if I want. Just by adding a little bit more white into it. Just testing her out. Now if you have a wash brush, this is really cool. As I mentioned before, you can flatten your brush out on your palette there. And then when you push down, the brush will get nice and thin, right? So I can use that to kind of come in and cut my edge. So I could make a little thing right like that, right? And then I can make another little hump. This is our foliage, our stuff in the background. There's another one. And then our bunny's obviously going to be in this area. So I can chill that down a little bit, right? I could bring it down so it doesn't go so high. And then I'm just going to keep kind of moving this along. Some little ones, some big ones. I'm going to work on this side. I'm going to do a nice tall one. Just like that. That's pretty cool. Okay. And then Happy Easter from Canada to England. It's awesome. Well, I got a little brown on my brush because I was watching my computer screen there. That's okay. Okay, so I got that little piece, and I'm going to come up and make another one. And then I'm going to make one that's a little bit more sideways right there. And it's kind of looking like some Mario foliage, actually. There we go. So there's some green. We could do some highlights and stuff afterwards. And I'm kind of coming in and just petting it a bit with the paintbrush. That'll kind of smooth out some stuff, right? Get rid of some of those lines. Now underneath here, we can darken it up. So I can grab green by itself if I wanted and see how that looks. I'm using a sap green, so it's a little darker. And this is a little, it's kind of transparent when I'm using this color by itself. It's just the brand, it's not super opaque. So you can see here, that you can see that white from the background. Now sometimes, if we're doing a darker painting, we can prep the background of the painting a little darker, and that'll help get rid of, or help the battle with the white on the canvas, or whatever you're using. You don't have to use as much paint or layers too, but this is a bright painting. So see the bottom, how I'm using my paintbrush sideways so I could cut along this edge. I'm going to do that here too. And if I want to darken it up a little bit more, you can grab your brown if you want and just add a little bit of that to the green. So you could come in and make some other little foliage bumps in there, or you know, you could do something like that, or you could come in and really smooth it out. So you just kind of feather your edge, and then it looks like it's just kind of goes from light to dark, right? So that's one side you could try out by making some more bumps. That'll give it some more little foliage, or you could smooth it out like on this edge here. Depending what you want to do, you can always play around. That's the fun thing about it. Now in here, I'm just going to smooth mine out actually. I think I want to do that today. I'm not going to see that because our bunny is going to be there. But we do want to work on that area. Remember to keep it thin because our bunny is going to go here, right? So if this is wet, it's going to be really hard kind of getting the other colors on, making it opaque. So we're going to jump around. We're going to finish this off, and then we're going to make some clouds. And then we could come and kind of decorate our log for a bit and do a pass of our Easter bunny there. Right, so I'm gonna lighten this up a little bit. I'm just grabbing a little bit more of the yellow, putting it in my green. I just had to put a little bit more yellow on my palette there. And I'm gonna switch up to my wash brush. Here's my wash brush. I'm going to come in and kind of highlight the little edge a bit. And I might drag that into here. Same with that. Just grab a little bit of that paint and put it on top. We could say that this is where like our light source is coming from, right? Grab a little more. And you could decorate your edge. This guy. We're going to outline these two, so you don't have to worry too much about how pretty it is right now. Yeah, that's pretty fun. And then I could come back to my green if I want that I used before, and I could kind of blend that down into this a bit. You could just smooth it out. But what you want to do is just kind of think of some highlights, and obviously we have the shadow on the bottom. So that makes it a little bit more fun. Has a little bit more character instead of just green. We could think that the light is coming from the top and then the dark part on the bottom. It kind of brings your painting to life a little bit more. Okay, so there is our green. Now what we can do, I'm washing off my brushes, right? I used the color, so I'm going to come back, wash it all off. We can put in the clouds now. So we used that light blue to do the background, right? So we can use that same light blue just with a little bit more white, and we can create some clouds. You know, the trick is to kind of have a little bit of that sky color inside of the clouds, and it doesn't just look like a big white blob. Although that's always fun too. Put smiley faces in your white clouds if you like. You do anything. You don't even have to do an Easter bunny. All right. Okay. So here is my white clouds. So I'm going to do, so again, that little white blue here. I'm going to use more white this time. There we go. And I'm going to make a cloud in here. So just like a bubbly little cloud. Fluffy like a marshmallow. There we go. Okay. And then I'm lightly bringing this down so it kind of fades into the sky color a bit. And that's the pressure with my brush. I'm not pushing down as hard. I'm just kind of going over a little bit. That's really hard to see right now because it's so light. Maybe if I pull it in like that a bit. So that's my little cloud right there. And I'm going to do the same to the other side as well. It's got a bit of a whitewash on here because that sky is so bright. So I'm going to come in and do another little cloud. I'm going to make this a little brighter so you can see it in the camera here. Remember the bottom of the cloud, I just really, really lightly came in and just kind of feathered it up so it allowed it to come in. So there's another little cloud in there. There we are. Now this should be dry in the middle too. This too should be getting a little dry too. Acrylics, that's kind of interesting little thing. Acrylics dry a little bit darker. So it's kind of hard to start to match colors when you're going along. Some pros are just so good at that, doing big murals and they can match it. That's what I've noticed. Okay, so we got the log on, we got our bush in the background. Now we could start kind of developing our characters. So what we want to do is, I think it's this one. Let's see. Nope, it's this one. What we're going to do is we are going to just build our shape of our bunny right now, right? So we build our shape and then we can actually fill it in after. That's the easiest way. We want, because our details are going to go on top. So build the shape and then we're going to fill it in. So the first thing imagine that our line is right here. I'm going to move this little bunny to the other side so you can see this. So he has a body, right? And then that big square is going to kind of be floating up in the air, but not too high. You don't want to give him a big long body. Actually, you could do whatever you want. My bunny, he doesn't have a big long body. He's got kind of a short, cute little body in the middle here. So I'm going to look for the middle of my canvas, and then I'm just going to kind of tilt it to the edge a bit because we're going to have a little chick hanging down here. So I'm just going to kind of check it out. And this is going to be underneath as well. So I use my pencil, and we could just make a nice big kind of square. Like almost like a rectangle. A little bit of a curve on it a bit. Okay, so there's I got a nice square there. And then what we can do is put on his paws. Those are like little ovals, and we can fix that up after. But this is basically just so we can get our size in here. This one I'm going to put just underneath his head here. And make that a little bigger. Then we can attach his body. So I'm just going to curve that down a bit. It's nice and cute. I'm going to round this off a little bit. Now you can use anything. Sometimes chalk is really nice, like a chalk pencil to sketch on, because when you're using graphite, it'll actually kind of bleed into your paint when you do a pass. And then we're going to do the bunny ears. So bunny ears, look for the middle. There's his middle of his face. I'm going to fix the focus here on my painting. There we go. So we're going to come in and do our little bunny ears here. So you can pull that up and then bring it back down. You don't want to go too high, but on either side of his head too, here's that center line. So we just want to give a little bit of a space in the middle, right? So we're going to come up and then I'm going to bring it down. That's a pretty big bunny ear. So my guy's going to have way bigger ears than my other one. And I'm going to match this one. Bring it up, curve her down. That's fun. I like that. It's going to be a big bunny. Okay, we have our shape on. And let me see if I can get this a little bit more focused on you. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to put in our bunny. The bunny is a little bit pinky, right? Just a little bit. So I'm going to use a little bit of red, some white, and then a tiny bit of brown too, just to kind of like get rid of that really pink color. So whatever brown you had, it'll get rid of that. And we don't want to go too pink. So I made two little batches here. This will be my dark pink over here, and then I'm going to make just a light pink for like his main body, the big fill. Pinky brown, kind of earthy tone. But to have a little bit of a tint in there is really nice. I'm going to try this out. Now your bunny is going to need two probably passes to fight this green and the blue in the background as well. So here we go. I'm just going to fill this little head in here, and then we'll revise and look at this again. So I'm just going to fill it in. I'm going to do the bottom, like so. Okay, so again, all we had going on is we just needed some green for our fills. I'm just going to review the painting so far. We did the green for our background. I used a little bit of white for that, and then I darkened up the bottom with a little bit of the dark green just to put some shadows in. We did some highlights, right? And then we did the background, which was just a really light blue, and then our log, which is just a brown with some white in it and some yellow so that you can kind of have it lighter on top and darker on the bottom, right? So that's where we're at. Then we're drawing our little Easter bunny. Now we just want to think of shapes when we're drawing our Easter bunny. We have a square for the head, using two ovals for his little cute paws there. And then we could do the long bunny ears, and you just connect his body with these two little lines, boop, boop, to his paws. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give him a little fill. So by filling it, we want to use a little bit of like a tiny bit of red, and then more white, and maybe a tiny bit of brown. And I think, like, I'm not sure if you can pause on YouTube and rewind. I have no idea. Not sure. Facebook, I think you could just grab the slider and move it down. At least I've been able to do that on other live broadcasts and stuff like that. I have to research some of that a little bit more. So all we're doing is filling in our bunny. I'm going to get them filled in, and you can all kind of keep on going along. Then we'll play that fun little Would You Rather, the candy showdown, find out what the best one is. I'm just going to come in and fill this. So you can see how you see the green in the background still. This is important that you keep it thin, because it's way easier to do 2 layers instead of battling with a big chunky part of your painting. I'm just using my paintbrush, the edge, to come in, and I'm just kind of cutting in around his little paws there. And we could fix the lines afterwards, right? We could come in, touch it up. No big deal. Happy Easter, Morgan. Hello, Strawberry. It's awesome. I can see all these chats. I think it's working. Okay, we're going to do the ears. So the ears, we can use that same paintbrush. And I'm using the thin side just to come in and cut in the ear. I could do that, follow your pencil line, and I'm just going to bring it down on that side as well. And I'm going to bring that down that way. And then that's one little pass of the ears. A little blue in there. Remember, we do have to come back and hit this twice. We're going to paint it twice. Now, I should have done it that one first because I'm right-handed, but whatever. We can fix it. And if you have a little trick that I'll use too, like if I'm doing something and this is dry, I could put my pinky on the edge here just to give me a little bit of stability. That's always okay. Okay, so just a nice little fill of his ear. Whoops, his ear got a little bigger there, which is okay. Actually, that looked pretty good. We can do that to this ear too. There. And you can see that this is already drying, right? So I could come back and I could just, as long as it's dry or a little bit tacky, you come back and do another little thin layer just so we can get rid of that green and blue in the background. And then we're going to do some highlights and little details on our Easter bunny after. It's a cute little character, this guy. So while this is drying, we can actually do our little chick in the bottom corner. So the chick was easy. It is really just an egg shape. And I'm going to use a little bit of the white and my yellow here. See, I just made a little mark right there, a little white and yellow. And all I'm going to do is make a little egg shape in this corner. I'm not going to put him right down to the wood there. I'm going to leave him up a little bit so we can give him some little eggs. And then I'm just going to paint on a cute little round egg shape. How convenient for this little chick to be an egg shape on Easter. Then I gave him a little thing for a tail. So you can see that, we can see through that, we can see some of the green in the background, right? So we're starting to get a little bit of a nice shape here. I think I'm liking that bunny. Let's see, bring this brightness down a little bit, then you can see where I'm at. So there's the shape of our bunny. We have a little tiny chick in the corner. Hopefully, how's everybody doing for time on this? How's the drawing coming, and where are we at on our bunny? Got this on. What we can do, if you're still kind of catching up, is that we can get rid of this, get rid of this. We could play the candy off of Would You Rather. So here we go. We're going to play Would You Rather. This is where you have to choose which one would you rather. Super easy. You can just write it in the comments, but this is the candy showdown. So first one, would you rather have kidney beans or would you rather have jelly beans? I'm definitely going for the kidney. No, I'm going for the jelly beans. I'm totally going for the jelly beans. Okay, so you just write your comment in. Who eats kidney beans? I don't think I've ever had kidney beans. Maybe I have. I just remember using them to count in school. Okay, this one is definitely fun. Would you rather have the Peeps little marshmallow chicks or the 1 foot tall Hershey's Easter Bunny? I am definitely going for the Easter Bunny. I'm doing that one. I don't think those Peeps things or Peps, whatever, are very good. I haven't even had one. I think that's how scared I am of those ones. Okay. Here's the next one. We're gonna see who wins this one. This is a tough one. The Marshmallow Chicks versus the Cadbury Cream Egg. I'm definitely going for the cream egg on this one. They're sweet, but they're not that weird marshmallow stuff. I don't even know if it is marshmallow. What is it made of? What are they made of? Okay, so I'm pretty sure the cream egg just won that one. Yep, looks like it did. And Chocolate Easter Bunny won the last one. Now this one is the all-time showdown. This is one of the hardest ones ever. Here it is. M&M's versus Smarties. I'm gonna have to go with M&M's. That is my bag of whatever these kinds of treats are called. My mom did like Smarties though. She loved them. On the other hand, M&M's, the best. And it is looking like, from all of the people chatting, that M&M's won. Okay, here we go. This is another hard one. We're getting into some crazy territory. This is the mini eggs versus Cadbury cream egg. So it's like the brother and sister. I'm Smarties. Someone chose Smarties. I'm going with. I'm definitely going with mini eggs. Those things are super addictive. Like a crushed bag in 10 minutes. Just eat them all, and they're all done. Okay, so we have the Cadbury mini eggs versus the cream eggs. I am definitely team mini eggs. And this is the last showdown because mini eggs rule everything in this whole would you rather category. Here it is. Kinder Surprise versus the mini eggs. I am definitely going for the Kinder Surprise. Way better than fortune cookies. So you get a little toy in them. So, I'm sure that Kinder Surprise is going to win on that one. Mind you, mini eggs bags. That's a big bag of mini eggs. Take that home. Have it. Snacks. Okay, there was our awesome game of Would You Rather. And we are still painting our Easter Bunny. Hopefully everybody's caught up. We have a little chick on, and we're filling our Easter Bunny here. Now I'm going to do another pass of our Easter Bunny, just to get this nice and solid, and then we can start working on some little details while that dries. So again, for the Easter Bunny, it's just a little bit of white, sorry, a little bit of red, more white. I'm going to load this on. That was way too much red, what I just did. Okay, so there was my too much red. I put a little bit of brown in it, remember? And just a little bit of color, you don't want too much. See how this looks. And when you're going through your colors and stuff, make sure that you're washing your brush in between the little steps there. Especially when we're using blues and greens. You don't want to end up with a funky color coming through, and yellows and all that stuff. Okay, so this is a little bit more pink, and I'm going to just pass over him, and then he should be full. I shouldn't be able to see any of the background right now. So there's a little bit of a pink color. You can see it. There, that's nice. I'm going to come in, do this nice pass. There go. See how I'm kind of changing the angle of my brush too as I'm doing these fills, right? Following the edge, just pushing down with my brush. Then you could come back and then fill the inside. Pick up some more paint. Remember to keep it thin. That's a big thing, because now gave us the time for that to dry in just like a couple minutes. Acrylics dry pretty quick if it's not thick. There's his other little paw there. And I might just come in and pull that edge. Pull this edge. I'm gonna get rid of that pencil mark. We are gonna outline it though. Here we go. Right on. Okay, and then we can do the same with our little chick too. So we can grab some white and some yellow, and then we're just gonna mix that up, and then you can come in and fill them in. This should be getting rid of that green now. There. Boom. Okay. So we have some color on. The next thing that we're going to do is, as this dries, because we have to come in and do some highlights and shadows, we're going to give it a little bit more character. And that's really, really easy to do. It's an easy step. But we can outline our bush here and the log. And then by the time that's outlined, we could come and start doing some stuff inside of our characters. Remember I said we'd kind of jump around a little bit. So now I'm going to use a tiny bit of black. I'm just going to put this, I'm using a golden fluid acrylic. I'm just going to put a little black up there. I'm going to switch my brush up to a round brush. But I'm just going to mix a little bit of this black into this green, just on the edge here. You don't need too much, just a little bit of water. This stuff is so nice. It works like a nice little ink. But it has a little bit of a sheen to it. So adding this green will get rid of that. And once I have a good little mix, I'm going to switch up to my round brush. Remember, so your round brush is this little guy. I always dip him in the water, get rid of the excess water on your napkin, and then you could come in and load up your brush. I always give it a little twist on the canvas, or sorry, on the palette, just like that. And that way the bristles all roll into each other. So, I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint this little bush here. Okay, so 2 little bushes. Now, like I said before, I'm going to get closer to this. I'm standing far away. You can rest your pinky on your canvas as you pull across. Or some people, you could put it on your lap, depending on what you want to do. You could do anything, really. As long as you're comfortable and you're making these lines. So there's a nice little outline there. I'm going to come in and do this guy. And I'm going to do this guy. I ran out of a little bit of my green, so I'm going to grab a little bit more. Pull that in. I'm going to come to the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to connect these lines. Rip. Same here. Pull this one in. Oops, got a little funky. Pull this one in. And I'm going to pull this one in too. There we go. There's a little magic lines for our bush in the background. Now, if you want, you can use that black and just put a little bit of brown in it. Or just use your black by itself if you want. This is just a little bit of outlining. I actually think my round brush is kind of burnt a bit. So you'll notice if you come in, actually I'm just going to do this little line right here. I'm going to pull this right across. So if you keep your distance with your brush, you can get a nice thin little line, right? If you push down, what will happen is your bristles will spread out, then you're going to get a thicker line. So I'll show you exactly how this will work when we're doing our log. So just filled that bottom part. You have some character to it. And I just went around his little paws there too, right? Okay, I'm going to pull this from the top, down and over, and push down. That was just with the pressure. I was going light, and then I pushed down a little bit more, and it got thicker. And then I could lighten up a bit here, push down, lighten up, give it a little wobblies. And then maybe a little line up in here. Just doing this cool little log thing. Just some character. And I'm always coming back to grab some paint. I think it's important. Then you can get those nice lines happening. There we go. Easy little logs, right? Log lines. Push down in here. And we're going to do another one. There. Okay, so that looks like a little log. We could even add this, do some cool stuff to this after too. Show you how to do this little shadows. If you wanted to, and these little trees as well, like you can make, if you want to give it a little bit more detail, you come in and give them like little tiny, it's kind of like Mario blobs, little bushes, little tiny guys. This will make it look a little bit more cartoony. And I'm just doing like some little hills or upside down U's. Not doing too many, I'm just doing some. You can add these in, it gives it some character, right? Now it looks, yeah, a little bit more like a little bush. A couple little lines too might make it look fun. Maybe one down here. One over here. Just playing, right? That's all we're doing. So there, that's a little different from what we did before. I'm going to bring up the picture so you can see that as we're going to. There it is in the corner. So you can see it's a lot different than the one I did on my little pad, my iPad there. Okay, so we can do some highlights and some shadows on our bunny now because he's definitely should be dry. So why don't we do the dark part? We're going to do the dark part in his ear. We could give him a little shadow underneath his chin here. Shadow underneath his paws at the bottom, and then we could come do some highlights. So for the shadow stuff, I'm just going to use a little bit more red. Make sure you clean off your brushes. So in this corner here, I'll just do it right here. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of red and some white. Remember, we want it to be more red. And if you want, you can put a little brown in there so it's just not like red. Mixing it all up. Now, the inside of the ear is kind of like a smaller ear. Come in, bring it up, and loop it down. And there's like a smaller ear. It's like a big, long teardrop. So we have a little red guy in there. And we could do the same to this side. Remember, it's like a little teardrop. Let's come up and drag it down. And then just fill it in. There we go. Okay. And if you want with this color too, like we can use it, same one for the bottom of his paws. See, that's a little bit of a shadow. Or if you want to make it a little darker, you can use a little bit more brown. I'm going to stick with this one for now. And then I can use that to come underneath his chin here. And just down on the side a little bit, maybe. And against the log right in here. The other thing we could do is just do a tiny bit on the bottom, so in this area. And use the same red too for his rosy cheeks. We'll do that after though. And then we can highlight this. So I'm going to use mostly white, just right beside this red. So I can tell I'm going to wash off my brush because I have a lot of that dark red in there. And is anyone having a turkey dinner tonight? Turkey for two? I am not. Okay, so now I'm going to come in and I'm going to paint some highlights. I'm going to do the top of his paws there. This is mostly white, actually. Just because he's so light, he's like a light pink, that the white will just pop it up a little bit. So did the top of his paws. Now, where else would light be coming and touching? Light, because the sun is above us, right? So it would touch right there. A little bit of light there. Some white on that edge. Maybe some white there. We could come down the side. Same with that. We could come down the side there. That's looking cool. It's looking like a fun little bunny now. Now we could use our round brush if we want to get in these small places, and we can do some highlights on the ears as well. So right on the top of his ears, that's where the sun's going to be touching. So I just grab some white. We could come in and we could just kind of highlight some of this edges. Just kind of drag it down. And you could kind of get that. You could see that nice highlight already. Now this always looks funny when you just have the block shapes in and highlights and shadows, because there's no face, just shapes right now. And at the end, we're going to come in and we're going to give the bunny a face. Okay, so I got that little highlight there. I'm going to highlight this edge. You still see a little blue, that's fine. Remember, we're just learning, having some fun. And every painting is going to be different. This is very true. Mine are always different. Sometimes you have great painting days. Sometimes you have some not so great painting days. The thing is just trying it out. So I got a little highlight on that now. What we can do is work on our little chick. If you want to try that, you can grab a little bit more white with the yellow. So we're going to do the same to him or her, whatever it is. We're going to paint the top of our chick a little bit of white on this little egg. And then underneath, I'm going to grab a little bit of brown and add it to that yellow. Whatever brown you have, but this will darken it up. And then right underneath, because this is where the shadow would be, I'm going to do a little line of this darker color here. Underneath this cute little tail. You could put a little thing here, bring it up a little bit so it's like where his little wing is going to be. This bunny is looking awesome. I'm really liking it. Okay, so we have some highlights, some shadows, and we got the shadows on our chick too, highlight on there. So really the next step that we have is we have to come in and we're just gonna outline our guy, outline our Easter bunny. Or you could come back if you want and fix, if you see some stuff, you can always come in and fix it. I might come in, I can see a little bit of blue in his ear there. So I might use that white again and just highlight that edge. So you can see if I can get rid of that blue. And just cut it in. And fix this little spot too. Paintings do come to a point where you're like, I am done with it. Sometimes that's a good thing, because you could sit with a painting forever and it never gets done. So you could see him coming back and just highlighting the top part here. Now this was a little thick on that edge. There we go. And you know what? In his paw here, I can still see a little bit of this pink color, or the green in the background. So I'm just gonna fill that in a little bit. This one. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to bring up the picture of just drawing this. And remember, you can always grab this, pause it, rewind it as we're going. So to do our face, just a quick little trick here is you can drop the eyes a little lower. When you drop the eyes a little lower, it makes things cute, right? If we put the eyes right in here. If I put them way up here, it looks pretty funny. But if you if you put him on the way out on the sides, he'll look hilarious too. So remember our imaginary line up and down. That's the center of his face there, and then we can have this little curved line. That would be kind of the horizon of his face, where his nose would go and where his eyeballs would sit. Now, I'm not going to use my pencil for this. We don't need to do that as much. We just want to imagine it in our mind. We're going to imagine these little shapes, and then we're just going to visualize. So we could do his face first. What we can do, if you want to use the black, you can put a little bit of red in there. Not so much that you see like the red, but what it'll do, again, it'll calm down if you have a little bit of a sheen to your paint. It'll get rid of that. And it won't be so black. So I just added a little bit of red into here. Now something with, like, if you're doing cartooning, to make this even more fun, what you can do is do like take the red, and you can add a little bit of brown to it. So you're going to make like a dark red. That's what I did right here. I made a dark red, and I'm just going to show you a line. So this is kind of like, you can do a little bit of a darker color than what your character's body is, and that will be your little outline. So we can try that if you like, or we can outline it in the black color. I'm going to try this cool little brown actually. I'll do his paw on his side so you can see what it looks like. Then you can see if you want to do the darker red, or if you want to do like the black outline. So this is kind of the browny red. I'm just going around his paw, right? And I could bring this edge down, which is kind of neat. I like that. I'm gonna carry on, but I'm gonna do the inside of his face with a black, so that it punches out, especially his eyes and his nose, his cute little nose. Okay, so we're gonna use the same color, and that was just black or brown and a little bit of red. Just gonna drag that right across. It's a cute little paw. Now we got to give him his little paw fingers there. So we're just gonna drag this down in the middle. See, so I'm kind of pulling these two little lines down, and that's his little paws. I'm actually really liking this. A little bit of red. Okay. So we can do his ear. You could come in and do like wherever you want to go, I guess. Remember, if you're right or left-handed, just kind of pay attention to where your hand is. And it's helpful to use your pinky because this is dry, so you can kind of put it on your canvas to give yourself a little stability while you're painting this. I'm just going to drag him down. I'm not too worried about my super straight line. You could cut it in like this if you like. Keep pulling it over, then it looks like little bunny hair maybe. The cool thing is you could come back. See how that was a little thick there? I could come back with my white, the highlight color, and cut that edge in actually. And then I'm going to drag this edge down. Oops. Need a little bit more paint. There we go. It's a fun little edge. There he is. So you can see that this is the red one. I did like a little bit of a black one on this one, right? And the black, I think I just put a little bit of white in there, and then that kind of popped it up. So I'll carry on with this. I'm going to darken it up with a little black in there. Probably go over this again, just so you can see it a little better. There we go. That looks a lot better. So I'd use the brown and a little tiny bit of black. Black will eat your color up like crazy, so you always want to mix a little bit at a time. And check it out, see how it looks. Okay, I'm coming in with this. Pull in his ear. More. Remember to give your paintbrush a little bit of a twirl, and that'll help your bristles kind of roll into each other. And I'm just kind of cutting it down, right? And we could do the other side of his head or his ear. And you could do a nice straight line. Gotta get some more paint. The one thing you don't want to do is when you run out of paint is push your brush down more to get some more paint out of there. Drag this down. Drag this over. He's looking like a bunny now, isn't he? A little bit more red in here. Tiny bit of brown and black. And this is just our outline, sorry. So I'm going to drag this down. Oops. So same with this. Come in, drag your line. It's a little messy, but we'll fix it. There we go. And then we can pull this one up. Like so. Like this brush is getting burnt on me. That means the bristles are getting a little feathery. Okay, so we have a line and inside. I'm going to show you how to cut this out after. How we can come in and fix outlines and stuff like that. But we do want it to dry. We have to do the little lines inside of his ear. So this is just like a nice little swoop. I'm just going to swoop this down. So come in and just with your paintbrushes kind of drag her down. There you go. Here's the other side. I'm going to come in and drag that one down. So that got way close to the edge. That's okay. Bring this back. There we go. Okay, and this is going to get fixed. This will be a good little lesson on here. We'll let it dry, and then we can start working on his face. So his face, the Easter Bunny's face. Remember, imagine the nose, and then imagine where his eyes are going to go. So I'm just going to come in, and I'm going to do a little cute circle for his nose. Okay? Then I'm going to give him two little ovals for his eyes. You can start small, too, just to see what it looks like. It doesn't have to be too bonkers. So that looks pretty fun already, actually. That was just like two quick little lines for his eyes and his nose. And then you could roll your brush and you give him a tiny, cute little mouth here. So just really lightly, just come in and you could just paint in a nice, fun little mouth. There it is. Now his eyes are a little closer than the other one I did. And you could definitely see the difference between where you're putting the eyes, right? So that one to that one, they're different. And that's just on where you put your eyes. But you want to be confident where you're putting the eyes because we're using black and it's kind of hard to go over with the black after. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry. So there's a couple things we do here. We're going to come in, I'm going to show you how to fix these lines. And then I'm going to show you how to do some whiskers, but we need to do his little blush on his cheeks there. So this is just kind of a little dark red. We're going to use that color that we had going on, and I'm just going to give him these cute little circle-y kind of things right where his cheeks would be. Now, we want to match this color. Remember the color we did for the ear? So that was just red, more red, a little bit of white, and some brown. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pull in this line. We're going to do two things. We're going to match that color as best we can. We're just going to go over it all, and then we're going to make the lighter color to come back and cut in that edge too. So, I'm just going to fix this edge right here. It's going to be nice and sharp now. I just kind of followed the edge of where my paintbrush was. Need a little bit more paint. And there you go. So that's a nice tight edge. Now I'm going to make that really, really light red color. That was a lot of white and just a little bit of red. And we're going to cut this down the middle. right? More on this edge because we want to thin this edge up. And there we go. That's one. And should I do this? I'm going to come back to my dark red. I'm going to cut this in a little bit more. There. So now you can see that the line is nice and thin in that area, right? It's kind of the fun thing about painting. You could come back, fix it. I'm going to get rid of that. Get rid of that. And I'm going to fix this line too. So with this line, I'm going to use the width of my brush and just drag it down. And we can delete that as we get going. Okay, next thing we want to do is we're going to do some little highlights in the eyes. So I'm going to use my white. We can give him these cute little dots in his eyes. And a little dot line on his nose. So it looks like a little reflection. And then I'm going to actually come back and fix it again. We can start working on our little bird too, our little chick. So you can put a little yellow in the black. I'm always adding a little bit of color. You don't really see it, but it works. Okay, so this kind of brought down that black part. So I'm just going to use this brush. I'm going to pull him right around that little eggy shape. Then I'm going to make his tail. There it is. Two little lines for his legs. And he has a fun little wings. The wings are really easy. We're just going to come in and give him some little lines. See, that was like 1, and then I shortened up the line, 2, and then 3. Now let's give him a little beak, or let's do the eye first, then we can see where he's looking. So his eye, another little line, and then we can do his little cute little beak. So we're going to pull this up like that. It's like a little triangle. And there's his little beak. Cute little bird. Okay, we got that on. I'm going to come back and fix that edge on here. So we can get rid of that brown. And then what it ended up doing was, looks like a little bit of a shadow in there actually. Okay, and then we use the white to come down on that edge. It's like more of a white than the red. So you can use that and just come back in between the lines. I'm going to make that color too and just drag it through. So that's how you could kind of fix this stuff. All we're going to do is do some of those little lines in the middle. So that color should be still on your plate or your palette. And that was that brown with a little bit of black and red in it. And now you can just come in and just connect your lines. And that should be good. There we are. Cute little bunny. So what else does our bunny need? Our bunny needs mini eggs. We need some mini eggs. You can put mini eggs in your painting if you want. You could totally do that. Okay, but he does need whiskers. So whiskers, just get a little bit of black on your brush. And you don't want it loaded up because we're going to use like just skiffs of this. We're just going to drag it across really lightly. 1, 2, 3. Don't push down too hard, else you get a big thick line. Same with this. We're just going to skiff this one across. 1. We need a little water on that. It's a little dry. And then 2. And let's do another 3. 3, 4, whatever. There it is. I gotta give him a longer one on this side so it matches. Touch that. And I'm going to bring one down. Whiskers are funny. So the bunny has some whiskers. We have a little chick here that was easy to do. And you can look at your colors. Like, if you're not happy with the outline color, because I did a little bit of a red one, I would actually go back. I might darken it up a bit. You can always mess around with your painting after, right? Once it's done, doesn't mean that it's entirely done. You could come back and fix it. But if I came in quick and just to show you the difference, use black, more black this time. I'm going to thicken up my outside line a little bit. You're going to see that he's really going to punch out. Thicken up the outside line just a hair. Ha! Get it? Just a hair. And then we can drag that down. Pull this over. Same with that. And then we could come in and fix these lines. There we go. So depending on what you want to do, it's totally up to you. But you have some options there when you're doing your little outline. I know if you look at any Disney characters and stuff like that, some of these outlines will match. Be like the darker color of their clothes or something like that, right? Depending on what it is. So you just keep that in mind, especially when you see like foliage or stuff like cartoon work. That would be like a dark, dark green. But I just darkened it up a little bit and just went around it. He needs little eyebrows. So you give him these cool little lines on top, and then you have some little eyebrows there. Okay. So that is looking pretty good. We have an Easter bunny happening with a little chick in the corner, checking him out, being like, yo, what are you doing? I'm just trying to focus this. If we wanted to, well, while I'm here, you can add little shadows too. So I could take some of that dark color and I'm going to water it down. So I'm making like a little puddle here of that dark color. I'm going to water it down. I'm going to get some on my brush and then I'm going to take most of it off on my napkin or my paper towel. Then right underneath where his paws would be, I could come in and add like a shadow on the wood area. And I'm taking off most of the water. Just adding a little bit of a shadow. Maybe a tiny one for the chick too. You know? And it looks like there's a little bit of a thing going on. If you wanted to, I did this in the panda one too, you could drop this right down so it looks like he's covering up this whole shadow area. Now that might get funky with your painting, but just be really careful with it. You don't want it to go too dark because you don't want to be like a big dark blob coming through here. But the shadows kind of come in this way. I mean, you could pretend that its head's kind of like this. And you could do some like bunny ears coming down or something, you know? So just be his shadow, his body. Bring these together a little bit more. And so now it looks like a little bit like a shadow, right? Here's his head, straight line. You know what it is. You could even bring that down a little bit more. And the chick would just have like a long shadow coming down this way. So you always play around. You can always learn and try stuff out, see how it looks. And then the other thing is you could just make another painting. That's all you got to do. So that is the completion of our cute little Easter bunny. That was a fast, fun little painting. I hope that you're having a super fun Easter too. Go outside, do some fun stuff, play with your family, your brothers and sisters, and here is my little painting. So if you want to post your painting in the comments. That would be really cool because I love seeing what they look like when they're done. Anyways, everybody, thank you for hanging out and happy Easter. Happy painting. I will talk to you soon.